Honestly, I'm spiraling. Enjoy your sanity while it lasts? Because I just did the math and realized we are about to enter the most dangerous time of the year. No, not Christmas. Christmas is easy. Christmas is just performative stress and wrapping paper. I am talking about the dead zone, the temporal Bermuda Triangle, the week between December 25th and January 1st. I call this the perineum week. You know, that part of the body that isn't one thing nor the other, that is exactly what this week is. You wake up on a Tuesday. Or is it Thursday? Nobody knows. The concept of time has been suspended. The laws of physics and capitalism have taken a vacation. You are wearing the top half of a flannel pajama and the bottom half of a suit, eating cold lasagna leftovers at 10 a.m. and drinking wine out of a coffee mug because why not? The rules are dead. At 35, this week is critical because it is when you stare into the abyss of your career and the abyss stares back. It is the moment you set that automatic email. I will be out of the office returning January 2nd with limited access to email. Lies. That is the biggest lie in corporate America. Limited access means I am holding my iPhone, reading everything, judging your incompetence, but actively choosing to ignore you because I am cosplaying as someone with a life. I have a friend, Jessica, let's call her Jessica to protect her legal identity, who told me what happened in her perineum week last year. Jessica works in HR, a serious job. During this limbo week, she went into an existential crisis so deep that she convinced herself she should quit everything and start an alpaca farm in Vermont. She knows nothing about alpacas. She is allergic to hay. But her brain, poisoned by sugar leftovers and lack of routine, said, "Yes, Jessica." The problem isn't late-stage capitalism. The problem is that you are shearing wool in the Appalachians. She spent $400 on books about camelid breeding on Amazon. $400. And guess what happened on January 2nd? The spell broke. She woke up, saw the alpaca books on her coffee table, had a panic attack, and went to work. That is the danger of the dead week. It gives you the false hope that you can be someone else. But spoiler alert, you are the same person, only now you have a sugar hangover and useless knowledge about alpaca gestation. But if we survive the dead week, we still have to face the final boss, New Year's Eve. At 35, the night of December 31st becomes an impossible choice between two tortures: FOMO, the fear of missing out, and JOMO, the joy of missing out. Society tells you that you need to be at a party, and not just any party. It has to be a party where everyone is wearing sequins. Do you know what it's like to wear a sequin dress for 6 hours? It is like being hugged by glamorous sandpaper. Your underarms get exfoliated raw. But hey, at least you are sparkling in the photos. And the logistics? Let's talk about logistics. You try to order an Uber at 11 p.m. The app laughs at your face. Surge pricing? 8 times. Suddenly, a 15-minute ride costs the same as a kidney on the black market. You get in the car. The driver is blasting Hungarian techno at full volume, and you think, this is it. This is how I enter the new year. Poor, death, and with skin irritated by shiny plastic. I got a DM from a follower named Party Girl Brittany. Brittany is 24, so she still has hope in her eyes. She told me she paid $200 to get into an exclusive club in New York City to see the ball drop. The reality? She spent the countdown in the line for the women's bathroom. She said, "Phoebe, midnight struck, and I was holding the hair of a stranger who was throwing up Cosmopolitan in the sink. When the countdown started, 10, 9, 8, the girl looked at me, mascara running down her face, and said, 'Happy New Year. You are my best friend.' That is New Year's Eve, guys. It is paying a premium to hold strangers' hair in sticky bathrooms. Meanwhile, the 35-year-old version of me is on the couch. I am wearing sweatpants. I ordered a pizza that is way too large for one person. At 11:55, I pause my TV show marathon, look at the clock, take a sip of my cheap champagne, and think, Thank God I am not in a bathroom line. That is the true victory, the peace of not participating. But the madness doesn't stop when the ball drops. On the contrary, it gets monetized. Because as soon as the clock strikes midnight, American society undergoes a collective brainwashing. We are pushed into a Target or a Barnes & Noble in search of the holy grail of adulthood, the annual planner. Honestly, I'm spiraling. Because every year it is the same thing. I walk into the stationery section and I see adult women, smart women with master's degrees, stroking synthetic leather covers as if they were sacred scriptures. We look at that $50 notebook and think, this is it. This is what was missing. I am not disorganized, I just didn't have the right font. I am not lazy, I just needed colorful stickers that say leg day. It is the stationery delusion. We believe we can buy discipline. We think that if we write drink water on a dotted line with a Japanese gel pen, hydration will happen by osmosis. I have a stack of planners from 2018, 2019, 2020. All of them have the month of January filled with impeccable handwriting. February starts to get shaky. March is blank. By April, the notebook has become just an expensive paperweight or a coaster for my hot coffee, leaving that brown ring stain that symbolizes my failure. And speaking of liquids, a follower sent me a DM yesterday that perfectly sums up our current dementia. Let's call him Kyle from accounting. Kyle told me his New Year's resolution was to hydrate like an elite athlete. What did Kyle do? He bought that giant cup. You know the one, the Stanley Cup. That cup is the size of a small toddler and weighs the same as a tractor tire. Kyle told me he takes this cup to work meetings. He puts the cup on the table and it occupies 40% of the conference room surface area. It is a power object, a totem of hydrological superiority. He said, "Phoebe, I am peeing every 15 minutes. I can't work. I spend more time in the office bathroom than at my desk. My boss asked if I have a prostate problem. I don't have the courage to tell her that I am just a victim of TikTok influencer marketing." Kyle, I feel your pain. This is the scam of the new year. We replace personality with accessories. But the true tragedy isn't the sequin dress or the empty planner. The final tragedy happens on the first Tuesday of January, Judgment Day. It is the moment when American society collectively decides to stop pretending and go back to the office. Do you remember those emails we sent in December? Those full of hope? Let's circle back in the new year. We write that so lightly, right? As if the new year were a magical dimension where we will have energy, focus, and a will to live. Then the new year arrives. And guess what? I am the same Phoebe from December. Only now, I am 5 pounds heavier and have less patience. The circle back is the biggest emotional pyramid scheme in the corporate world. We push problems to our future self. Present Phoebe thinks, oh, January Phoebe will love dealing with this tax spreadsheet. January Phoebe thinks, I hate December Phoebe. I want her to be arrested. I have a friend, Dave from marketing. Dave spent the entire month of December replying to everything with, let's align on this in Q1. He felt powerful. He felt like a CEO. Yesterday, I talked to Dave. He was crying in his car, in the company parking lot, listening to Enya. Q1 has arrived, and Dave realized there is no alignment. Dave is a fraud. We are all frauds. And honestly, speaking of frauds, if you also feel like you have absolutely no idea what you are doing with your life, you should probably subscribe to this channel. We are basically a support group for exhausted people. It's cheaper than therapy and way more fun than Dave's car cries. So hit the button, let's spiral together. Anyway, so what is the lesson here? Why do we do this every year? The truth, and this is gonna hurt, is that the holiday season is a consensual hallucination. We need this break. We need to believe in the lie of the dead week, the lie of the planner, and the lie of the circle back. Because if we admit that January is just Tuesday, we will lose our minds. So my advice to you, buy the useless planner, Eat the old cheese from the fridge. And when someone asks about that overdue report, just look them in the eye and say, let's circle back in 2027.